All right, all right. So, what? Yeah, we are on the second episode of the Paranormal Chat Show, and we have an amazing guest tonight. And before I go little detail about the guest, I have some pretty plugins to do because that is why I'm doing this Paranormal Chat Show. Yeah. So so basically, the organization, the Parapsychology and Investigation Research Society, is conducting three different events at three different cities of India for this year's Halloween 2017, basically. And tomorrow goes the first event that is in Mumbai, and also for the Bhubaneswar. For Mumbai, we'll be having this spectacular party where people will be having fun while learning something about the paranormal. For Bhubaneswar, we have this live investigation planned up with the crew of Kalinga TV, where we'll be taking two lucky people out of so many registrations, two lucky people to investigate with us at one of the most haunted locations of my state, of India, basically. And the second event and the third event basically will be going live day after tomorrow, that is on Sunday, because not because, as in on Sunday, that is the irresistible workshop that will be happening in the capital city of India, that is New Delhi, and we'll be having a live workshop at a live haunted locations, and it is considered to be the one of the most haunted locations of India. The locations, everything will be disclosed in the event page of our page. Apart from that, on Sunday noon, I personally will be going live with the online tabloid Coffee Bites magazine, where we'll be talking about Halloweens and answering some questions the people might be having regarding paranormal and Halloweens. And at 12 noon, our co-founder Pooja Vijay will be going live with another online tabloid, 101 India magazine, and where she will be talking about her paranormal experiences, psychic experiences, and will be having a chat with the team of 101 India, and will be giving some live psychic readings that she has the ability of. She's a psychic medium and has been doing this for many years. So yeah, that live is also going to be an awesome one. So we have many events lined up. If you want to cope up with what and when we are doing it, I think the best thing is to follow our page or our Instagrams. The links of our Instagram accounts will be given in the description. Apart from that, I have a very big announcement for everyone who loves paranormal, everyone who has been watching my TV show, no matter of the language barrier, for everyone who resides in Odisha and is an Odia and watches my TV show Manakinomana. So the big news is that we are starting our shoot for the season 2 of Manakinomana, and yeah, we have got some amazing locations lined up to be investigated, and the formats and everything have totally changed. We have had so many meetings with the crew and production houses and everything, and we have sorted out so many things, fixed so many things. So basically, the season 2 of Manakiramana is going to be an epic one. And guess what? There's a change, a big change in the format. Like I said, there are so many changes, but the biggest change is you people. And by that, I won't be disclosing much for now, but you'll be knowing what we are planning. And trust me, you are going to love it anyhow. So yeah, I think it's time that I should talk a bit about our guest. So our guest for tonight is Brian Holloway. And Brian has been an amazing friend of mine from a very long time, and we have created an app together that is called the Pair Spirit Box, along with another friend from Spain. His name is Javier Sanj. Big shout out to Javier. And apart from that, Javier has been a key, how do I say, a key member or key person for all the graphic videos that I have uploaded over the years. And just like to know, to make sure everyone knows it, that the official logo of Pairs The organization is also designed by Brian himself. So Brian has been an investigator for over 30 years and has been an investigator in a TV series that used to air on GBC Gibraltar. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it was airing on GBC, and he was a part of the very TV series for 2 seasons completely. Apart from that, Brian is Brian creates ITC applications. Now ITC applications has been like there are so many applications you'll be finding on Google Play, or every now and then many people have been developing ITC applications. I haven't used them, like I haven't used all of them, but if you ask me that going by the apps that Brian has created by collaborating with different peoples or different investigators, I can certainly say that his applications are something to be, you can rely, as in you won't be, there isn't anything. For example, if we consider the Pair Spirit Box. Now, the Pair Spirit Box is an amazing app in a way because the audios that are in the app are from some of the ancient, how do I say, from some of the ancient texts of Hinduism. And now there's this unique procedure that these people do, or that we discussed while making this app, is that I'm basically talking about the Pair Spirit Box. Now, the Pair Spirit Box contains the ancient texts of Hinduism, but there is a small change. All the audios that are put in the Pair Spirit Box are in the reversed order, and that too they are chopped. So if you are running the app at some place and you hear something that is intelligent, something that makes sense to you or others who are nearby you, you can totally rely on the app by thinking that whatever you heard is something from the spiritual world and is not from the application, because there is not a single word, there's not a single sentence that is in the application that you can be doubting that is it something coming from the applications. No, all the words have been chopped, they have been, how do I say, reversed, and have been put in the application, so that whatever you hear is something that is legit and not something coming from the application. So apart from everything else, Brian has been doing some recent collaborations, and I believe he's coming up with some more applications. The recent one that I have read or heard about is the Speculo app, along with Xavier Sanch and Rob Demarest. So so tonight on the Paranormal Chat Show, we'll be talking about everything and anything that is paranormal with Brian Holloway. And I think I have plugged everything. And so I think it's time we connect to Brian. So now, just so everyone know, Brian is from the United Kingdom, and we have a time difference of 5 hours 30 minutes. And but thanks to him, and I totally appreciate the time he'll be spending with me. I don't know how the experience will be for him, because I'll be taking his 1 hour of his busy schedule, and I have no clue what the experience is going to be, but I'm pretty sure he is going to tolerate me. He has been tolerating me from a very long time, and this time, mate, you are again going to tolerate me. So yeah, apart from tolerating me, I think apart from everything else, I think yeah, just give me a minute. I think there's some technical issues. We are trying to connect with Brian. Yeah, I think we got Brian. Hi, mate. How are you?
Hi. Yeah, I finally got here. It crashed as soon as I went into the video call. I've just had so many errors today. It's unbelievable.
This is ought to happen every time we go live with you people. There is something or the other that happens. I think this is something to do with your housemate. Your house is haunted.
It is. Well, I just posted on Facebook that my phone just completely decharged. It was at 70%. It went from 70 to 0 in seconds while I was talking to you just earlier on.
Now see, the Paranormal Chat Show is all about, the Paranormal Chat Show is all about anything and everything that is paranormal. And right now we have got a topic that is your house.
Oh, so, my word, this place, yes.
Yeah. So welcome to the chat show, brother. And this is the second episode, and you are the first international guest in here. I do look like an idiot as of now because I just had my haircut. Pardon me. So I have a lot of questions for you, and I think right now we don't have many viewers, but I've seen the stats after the video is posted. We do get nearly in a day we do get 200 to 300 views. That means 200 to 300 people do watch the video. And if that is the thing, there will be many people who would be interested to know more about you or the apps that you create or the investigation that you have done over the span of 30 years. I mean, can you just believe like 30 years of investigation? Like, I'm not 30 right now. and like talking to someone having an experience of 30 years. So how does it feel like investigating the paranormal for a very long time? That is like nearly 3 decades. How does it feel?
I feel old. It is. When you think back, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, the time it's gone nowhere. I've just blinked. Technically, I've been doing it longer than 30 years, but doing it 30 years more seriously. But I actually started, I was born into the paranormal. My very first memory was paranormal. So it's been a long journey, but I just put 30 years on because that's when I think. But yeah, it's I can't believe it's that amount of time already.
Like you never realized that you spent 30 years investigating the paranormal, right?
No, it just seems like I've been doing it for 2 minutes. It literally does, like no time at all. Yeah. And now everything's just moved on. From obviously, when I started 30 years ago, things were a little bit different to what they are now.
So, like I said, I'm not 30 right now, so I have no clue how the paranormal investigation was 30 years ago. So, I do know some people who are like in the same level of investigation, 30, 35 years. And I've read some articles, seen some videos 30 years back. I don't know if I don't know if there was YouTube 30 years back. Was there?
No, there was not. We had nothing like this. Nothing like this existed.
So 30 years ago, I haven't seen any videos too. So I just read some articles. So how was it? How was it? Like, just let's not take 30 years back. Like 20 years back. How was the scene of paranormal investigation 20 years back?
Well, even 20 years back, it was totally different to what it is now. We had no mobile technology like we have now. All the gadgets and things just didn't exist. A lot of the stuff we have now was just, science fiction. But the main thing for 20 years, I mean, it's like sci-fi nowadays with all the stuff we've got. But 20 years ago, the paranormal wasn't as accepted as it is now as well. We talk about it openly and freely. We're chatting now and we're talking with everyone online about it. But 20 years ago, if you started mentioning anything about anything paranormal and ghosts, people would look at you funny. It was just not as accepted. But as in a term of doing it, it was very basic. We basically, it was what they call old school. We didn't have digital recorders. We literally had tape recorders. You know what I mean? It was all old school, doing it the old way. You had your crystals and your Ouija boards and things like that, but very little actual tech in that sense. It was all done the good old-fashioned way.
So this brings to my next question, Brian. That so you have used the old school techniques, and you have also used the hi-fi techniques that we have right now, starting from the applications to some very amazing devices that are being developed over the years. What is your favorite device as of now? If we take something from your old school techniques to the scientific ones, what is your favorite as of now? Or your all-time favorite?
My all-time favorite. I mean, there is a lot of controversy over certain things at the moment, but I really do like the SLS cameras. They're like the Kinects and things like that. They're very cool. They have took sort of us down a thing that so now we can see, people who kind of naturally haven't got a gift to see or hear spirit, we can actually technically see, as long as the equipment's used right. Obviously, we still, it's got to be used correct and things like that. But yeah, I mean, that's very cool compared to what we had 20 years ago. Well, technically, a digital recorder is very cool from what we had 20 years ago because we had nothing.
Yeah.
But the SLS cameras and things like that we have now, they're amazing. They're fantastic. You can just walk into a location, turn that thing on,
yeah,
and you can
complete figure of that particular entity that is in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy stuff, and that's only just come about in the last couple of years. Really, it's still new technology, really.
So now this is something that shouldn't make you feel old, Brian.
No, that's not too bad.
All right. So, Brian, like everyone have their own reasons why, like paranormal field, or like this is a different world totally, to be very honest. Paranormal world, and everyone have got their reasons why they are into this paranormal, right? Like I used to fear darkness a lot. Like darkness used to unnerve me. So the only reason I got into this field was to face my fear and to understand what I'm fearing.
Yeah.
So, like, you have been investigating for so many years. So, what was your reason of getting into this paranormal? Like you said, you were born into paranormal. So, what is the reason, like, you took this field, or you considered to be a part of this particular world?
Well, the field I've chosen, which is more like ITC, because there's many facets of the paranormal world. But again, it stems back from that very first memory that was so horrific of what happened. And it just led me on a journey. And when I got to a certain age where I could understand what had happened, I wanted to know what we were dealing with, what was on the other side. And then that led me to another journey, which wanted me to show other people what was on the other side, and to let other people to try and communicate, because obviously communications are very, again, open subject. But it's a long story, but that's as basic as I can make it. One incident just led to another one, and then it led to wanting an understanding of what it was that scared us back then when we were children, and scared my brother. The original incident, we wanted just to know what was going on there, and it's just led me now, all this time later, to this part of the ITC where we are.
So, Brian, would you mind sharing that experience? Like, if there's no problem with you, would you mind sharing? Like, I would like to know. Everyone else who will view this would also like to know. Like, what was the horrific experience that you had?
Well, yeah, it initially, I happened to be brother. I was only very, very young. That's why it's kind of the first memory I can remember. I was only like 2.5, 3 tops.
Oh, that's very young.
I was very, very young, and I've got no memory before that, so this is kind of the first thing I remember. But I remember my brother was sleeping in one bed. I was very young. I was just in the bed next to me with my dad, and I just remember this horrendous scream, blood curdling scream. And my brother, when we turned over. And again, some of this story was related to us slightly afterwards, because I was very young. I remember the scream, and I remember looking over, and my brother was just with his hands up like that, covering his eyes. And he was just completely hysterical, terrified. And when my dad just picked us up and ran out the house, because he didn't know what was going on. It was just horrific. But basically, after the fact, because my brother was a little bit older than me, but he was only just starting preschool, he didn't really know much about anything. And they asked what had happened, and he said a man walked through the wall and came towards him, which, because you can imagine, of that age, but he couldn't sort of speak what the man was. They were saying, well, what was the man? He couldn't think, because he didn't understand. But what he described was a fully clad Roman soldier. But he didn't.
Soldier?
A Roman soldier. Roman.
Oh, wow. Roman.
Yeah. But the thing is, he was so young himself, he didn't understand what a Roman soldier was, because he didn't say it was a Roman soldier. He couldn't say what it was, and they asked him to describe. And when he described what the guy was wearing and all the other thing, it was obviously a Roman soldier, but he couldn't even say the word Roman soldier, because he didn't know what one of those was. So it was a very weird time, and that was the very first memory I have. I just can't remember anything before that at all. That was the very first thing. So you can imagine that got me into it. That stuck. It's
like you carried that particular memory for like for the
all the
next 5,
time.
6 years just before beginning, investigating like what really happened to you.
That's it. So that's exactly that incident. And obviously we've spoke about it when we got older. My brother still remembers every single second of it, even to this day. And that was for him. That was nearly 50 years ago. So exactly, and that's how intense it was. And that's what we want to think. That's the journey I'm on. I wanted to know what that was when I was growing up. What was it? I know he said it walked through the wall, but why? Why was it there? Where did it come from? The questions I think we all have when we get into this field in one way or another.
Exactly. So when you decided to, just to interrogate that what had really happened that night, did you had any kind of fear in you? Like generally the young the teenage guys, or like basically if you consider me, I was a shit freak for like 15, like till my teenage years. Like basically till I was 15, like I started investigating the paranormal when I was 16. So still 15, I was darkness was like go to like the Satan is inside the darkness. That was my belief system. So when you consider that, no, this is the time I think I should reconsider what I saw long back. So did you have that kind of fear that I may get attacked by something unknown that generally I have seen in movies, because the movies and everything, they show something out of the world kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. Generally to trigger the fear in us. So when you decided to interrogate, did you have that kind of fear or something, or you were like, no, I should understand what was that?
No, I was like you. I was scared of the dark. I was scared of what was in the dark. But as I grew up, I had a fear of ghosts, spirits, like any other kid would. But as I got older, I did stuff that you do see in the movies did actually happen. I was attacked in the dark. I was dragged out of bed by my hair and things like that. I was dragged out of bed by I had more hair then, obviously, to actually grab hold of. But yeah, I was dragged out of bed. I was
dragged out of the bed.
It was terrifying. I mean, it was obviously the thing of nightmares.
Bro, no, this is getting serious, like really very serious.
It is. I mean, people, I don't speak of this often when people think, because it's kind of private stuff. But yeah, as I went through this journey, it just seemed like once that initial incident happened, spirits seemed to be attracted. And then later on in life, I found out that both my brother and I had sort of like a little bit of a gift. We could sense spirit and we attracted them, but we didn't know about it at the time. But yeah, it just seems like everything I seemed to attract was never exactly friendly. It was a little bit strange. And yeah, I just remember I'd gone to bed. I wasn't asleep. I just laid down thinking about the day that I just had, thinking about what I was going to do tomorrow. I was only a teenager, and all I remember is I just felt something grab the back of my head, because my head was on the pillow, so it grabbed my head. My neck was snapped round, and the next thing I know, I'm half out of bed with my head on the floor and my feet still in the bed.
Wow.
And I was like, it was fast. I think that as well. It was very deep. It wasn't friendly, obviously.
Of course not.
But it was just the speed. I couldn't believe how fast, and the force. You could feel people say, "Well, didn't you just twitch?" I mean, but I was literally lifted out of the bed and flopped onto the floor face first, with my legs still in the bed. And the pain that I had from someone grabbing me hair that hard, and I just didn't know what to do. Again, I was in my teens. I was still learning. Everything was still new. But that was something else. That wasn't just a friendly little tap on the shoulder, or a voice saying hello.
Like the reason I said this is very deep kind of thing, because the things that happened to you, as in particular this particular incident, we most of the cases, like even you will be agreeing with me that the most of the cases or places that we investigate, most of the spirits don't get sufficient energy to manifest themselves or to act themselves as they wish to, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But the thing that you are saying, basically catching a hold of your hair and then kind of pulling you down takes some really, a lot of energies for the spirit to manifest and then do this particular kind of incidents. So did you ever really try to understand like what was causing that thing? As in, was it that was a spirit, an evil kind of thing, or was it a nasty kind of thing? Like how do you like to define that particular thing?
Well, at the time after it happened, I was, like I say, still fairly new, even though I'd had a bit of a journey up to this point. This kind of was a turning point. Yeah, I just thought, well, I remember just thinking that's not normal. I've heard about other paranormal experiences a little bit. Now, I was looking into the paranormal a little bit more at that point, but I thought, that's not normal. At the time, I didn't think about the energy thing, because again, we were talking a long time ago. So
yeah, exactly.
I didn't think, oh, that must have took a lot. I just thought, you know, that just was not normal. That was very personal. It felt like, obviously, to touch you like that and to hurt you like that. But yeah, it set me off on a different little bit of a different direction from originally, because I thought, if something can do that, what else can it do?
Exactly, that's the question.
That's the thing, exactly. And think, my God. So obviously, sleeping after that was a bit of a problem for quite a while, because that puts you on edge, and it did not just during the night. That puts you on edge like all the time, because you think, you know, these things don't just come out at night. This is day and night. So I was
always having this question when you'll be going to a bed, that is it coming to right now? Is it coming to me right now?
Exactly.
So that question like will be haunting you. So like this is one horrifying incident. Like even before you got professionally involved in the investigation, you already had an experience of your lifetime. So then like mind letting me know like like you have covered the entire United Kingdom or basically some patches of the continent.
Sorry, say that again. We'll drop it out there a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to ask that like you have been investigating for so many years. You have also got featured in a TV series.
That was cool.
Yeah. So and apart from that, you might also be doing some solo investigations or some investigations with your team. So apart from the horrifying incidents that you were just explaining about, did you had something of that level or something that could, you know, counter that experiences after that particular thing, as in after getting involved in the field professionally?
Yeah. Once I got really into the field, and I started understanding a little bit more about how spirit work, about the energy thing, that they need energy. Yeah, I had incidences after I sort of like really got really interested. Well, I wouldn't say when I got professional, but when I sort of thought, this is where I need to be. This is what I want to do.
Exactly.
This is my journey. Yeah. Since that point, and I really started looking into it, I've had many incidences that involve myself, my family members, some quite horrific stuff. Since that day, I've been bitten, punched.
You have been what, bitten?
Bitten. Actually felt teeth going into us. Yeah, I was wide awake then.
Like what? Vampire?
I have no idea. All that happened was it was shortly after my son was born, and he woke up one night. So I did the usual parent thing. I took him downstairs. I got him a bottle. I'm wide awake. Just sat down, started taking care of him, and I just got this weird feeling. Just this stuff. Just the hairs went up on the back of my neck, and I felt someone just sink the teeth, and I felt individual teeth go in and sink into my neck, and I actually moved with it like that, but I had a baby in my hand, so I couldn't just jump, and it got quite a lot of pressure, and then I sort of went like that and it released, but obviously there was no one there. At first, I maybe thought the wife had come downstairs and was trying to play a trick or something like that. But once it released and I sort of stood up, the house is silent. I'm on my own, and I'm wide awake. I'm fully lucid. You know what I mean? And I felt the teeth, the individual teeth. It was very strange.
Amazing.
Yeah, like so little things like that just happen. Yeah, but it's not something you normally. Again, I wasn't expecting it. It came as a surprise, as you can imagine. And again, it's one of those people think, well, maybe it was dark, it was early in the morning. But I'm thinking, no, I'm taking care of a baby. The last thing on my mind was anything paranormal. I wasn't thinking about ghosts.
Yeah.
I was thinking about taking care of this child. So it just came so out of the blue. Yeah. So what it was, I still don't know to this day. I have no idea.
You have got some fascinating stories, bro, to share. And so like all these incidences, starting from what happened to you when you were a kid. And so basically what I'm trying to ask is, like you said, you have this gift of attracting spirits, like all kind of energies, right? So has this ability helped you in your investigations?
Yeah, totally. It at first it didn't, because it's not something that I wanted. And when I realized and was told by others that I had the gift, because I always used to hear the voices. I would be in the house by myself and I would hear my name called all the time in an empty house.
So it's basically you had that psychic ability of clairaudient.
Yeah, and it was always different voices, male, female, young, old, different voices, and they would be right behind us, Brian, and I would turn around and thinking it was my brother, or I think, oh no, I mean, there's no one here. So when I realized, and again was told what that was, I didn't want it. I didn't want that gift. It wasn't a gift to me, because I was attracting some really strange things, and it was more, it felt more like a curse. So I tried to suppress it. I didn't want it. So at first, I didn't use it to my advantage within the paranormal field. I just literally buried it as far down as I could, which didn't last forever, obviously, because things changed. The way it changed was when I started the TV show. I moved to Gibraltar. That's where the TV show was aired, and I met Samantha, who was the medium on the show, and I also met some other fantastic people who were very talented mediums and psychics, and they were the real thing. And they kind of trained me, showed me how to use it properly, how not to be afraid of it, to use it to my advantage, which is what we used to do on the show. Because the original TV show was, when I got involved, was season 2, was Samantha was the psychic. She would go into a location and do a thing, communicate with spirit. But what the producer wanted when we came on board was they wanted the technology, which was what we had, to verify what the psychic was perceiving and picking up, and vice versa. And the psychic could then verify if we got anything, vice versa. But then once me and Sam got talking and she got to know me a bit better, she realized that I had this gift, and she made me use it. It wasn't I didn't have a choice. She made me do it. She would, when we got to a location, she would say, don't use the equipment. Don't get the equipment out. Stand here. Tell me what you feel. Use this. Not the K2s, use this. So that's what I did. And eventually, as we went through each season, I was able to stand with her and walk off in different directions. She said, you go that way, and tell me where you're drawn to. And we'd always meet at the same place. We'd always end up at the exact same point, and that's where we started filming, and that's where we got activity. So, so she helped me tune in and just use your natural ability first. The equipment's fantastic. It's cool. But the best piece of equipment the best piece of equipment you have is you. Exactly. Those feelings, those little feelings we get in our stomach, the little hairs standing up, just go with your instinct, and it never lets you down.
Exactly, the instincts, basically. The correct word is instincts. Yeah, because there are times when you feel something and you might not get on the devices.
Exactly.
But still you are sure that you felt it. So even if you don't capture it in the devices, you can't just conclude that, oh no, there's nothing, because you felt it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, you just know, you go with that gut. Now, everyone doesn't have that capability, so that's where the equipment goes. But if you do have that capability, even just slight, always use the equipment as a secondary.
Exactly.
Go into a location. Exactly. Go into a location and just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just feel. Feel where you're drawn to. Go to where you feel you need to be first. Then, if you want to turn your equipment, then go for it. But let your instincts guide you first.
Exactly. Yeah. Now that is like, When it comes down to devices, see, the paranormal field is a controversial thing.
Oh, yes.
You might have 110% of evidences to prove that this freaking thing is haunted or has spirits or has energies. There will be someone or the other who will be questioning it, no doubt in it.
Yep.
Right. So I think the best thing one can do being an investigator, and that is the best part of having team members, specifically team members who have these psychic abilities. Because we have even if you see organization, my team pairs. Now pairs is a blend of spirituality and science, basically.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to the spirituality of India, Indians have written many ancient books, basically the ancient texts that have been added in the pair spirit box. All the texts that they have written in the ancient times, they have mentioned about UFOs, they mentioned about ghost spirits and everything. Now those books are worshipped by people. But what's the funny thing or the irony is that people worship that book, but they don't follow what's written in it.
Exactly.
Right. So there are things written about spirits and things, but when it comes down to someone like us who are trying to educate people on paranormal just to help them out, they will be like, no, there's nothing as paranormal. The best thing, like you said, have your instinct, have your psychic member ready, let him give your readings and everything. When it is done, confirm it by your device. Now you have two proofs to show the world that yes, that this is what we are doing and this is real deal.
Exactly. That's why we did what we did on the ghost trail.
Exactly.
We always had the psychics, we always had the tech, and they just work together. So someone might not agree with what the tech was getting, but they're more prone to accept what the psychics saying, and then you get the opposite. People saying, "Well, I don't believe in psychics, but I can see and hear the tech." You know what I mean? The tech the thing is, there are good psychics and there are bad psychics. But my philosophy was, there are some very bad psychics, but my philosophy was, I mean, Sam was the real deal, she was good. But my thing with the tech is, the tech doesn't lie. The equipment doesn't lie. People lie, but the readings, the evidence we get, and especially if it doesn't lie, especially if it's not edited. That's why I like to do now everything live, so there's no editing, and what we get is just what we get. There's no manipulation. It just is what it is. You will still not convince some people, like what you said. Even if we had 100%, 100% guaranteed spirit communication, there's always the skeptics. And what I don't mean skeptics as in like your standard skeptic. You see, a skeptic is someone who's sort of kind of on the fence. They don't believe, but they want to believe, but they need the proof to believe.
They have this open mind to accept things.
They're very open-minded, exactly. So they're willing to believe. If they can see enough evidence, they're willing to believe. But the people I'm on about, if a spirit appeared right in front of them, they'd still say you faked it. If a spirit walked up to them and slapped them in the face, it's fake. You know what I mean? You were never going to convince those people. But it is still important to have both sides, like what we said, the spirit side, the psychic, the mediums, things like that, the sensitives, and the pure hardware tech. Got to work together. But it's important to have both.
This is the reason you might have heard about James Randi, right? So he has this foundation who pledges to give some $1 million to someone who proves the existence of ghost and spirit. Now, see, there's no problem in approaching the foundation to prove. The only thing is they have this condition that if you want to prove something, that will be under our condition, as in they are putting the conditions to prove. Now, how do you wish to something that object is mine by inviting me to your place? That is totally impossible, right? So this is the thing. Now, those are skeptics, fine with it, but have an open mind that we have come a long way. Right, and after coming such a long way and still having this closed mind that ghosts and spirits don't exist is ridiculous for me.
Exactly. We've shown enough now. We haven't given 100% proof, because if we give 100% proof, then there's nothing more to investigate.
Right?
Exactly. So we've given, I think, enough proof to show that we're communicating with something. I'm not saying that we're communicating with your dead auntie or Elvis or whoever we're supposed to be. You know what I mean? We know we're communicating with something that's very intelligent, that has a lot of information, that claims to be past relatives and have information about us and our, you know, our past and things, but we still don't truly know. But what we do know is there's an intelligence out there.
Exactly.
And we can communicate with it. So to me, again, they're those type of skeptics, the ones that are going to give £1 million if we can prove it. We'll never be able to prove it to them, no matter what. But
yeah, exactly.
There's enough there. The time.
Take those £1 million too with you and just try to have an open mind. That is the message for today's Paranormal Chat Show.
Exactly. You've got to have an open mind. I mean, even we still have, I've done some crazy stuff and I've had some crazy stuff happen, but there's still a part of you that's still skeptical because we truly don't know. We don't have all the answers. But at least we open to possibilities. We open
and we're trying.
Things. We try our hardest. I mean, we try to the point where, you know, it's all we do. It's our life.
Exactly. This is a part of our life now.
It is. It is basically our life. We eat and sleep paranormal. It's what we do because it's a big thing. It's not just a.
Exactly got the right point. As in, I had this thing in my mind for a very long time that, like, what step I took to overcome my fear, and now this freaking thing, this, how do I say? I don't have words to explain this thing. Is now a part of my life. Like even if you try to run away from it, it will be behind you like a shadow.
You can. Once
I don't know
that's
if
what
it is good or bad, but it is something that is fascinating.
It's always there, and it always brings you back. So I've said to people when they said, I want to get into the paranormal, I said, getting into the paranormal is fantastic. New people coming in, I said, but be prepared, because once you start down the rabbit hole, there's no turning back. There's no going back. You are there, because it's so intriguing, it's so fascinating, and all the different areas you can go. I said, that's your life. That's it. You'll be done. You'll be.
I think some people rightly say that you don't choose the paranormal. The paranormal chooses you. I think
that is, that I do believe that. Yeah, I mean why did that happen all them years ago to my brother and myself? Why did that Roman soldier walk through that wall at that time? That was the catalyst, the trigger.
The question. There are, if we consider there are 3 to 4 billion people on this earth, why there are certain people who are exposed to this spiritual stuff? Why not others?
Exactly.
Right.
That's the $1 million question as well, isn't it? Like, why some people will never see a spirit or a ghost, no matter how they could go to the most haunted place in the world and they will never see nothing. And that's what people have said with the tech. They've said, I've walked in with all this tech and I got nothing, so hence the tech must be fake. I said, no. I said, one, when you go into a location, there might be many spirits, but they have to want to talk to you. They're not like puppets on strings. We can't command them. They have to want to talk. And there's maybe certain people that spirit just don't feel comfortable talking with.
Exactly, yeah.
Just like there is in life, we're comfortable with talking to each other, but you might meet someone and you think a little bit like, I'm not comfortable with talking to that guy. You know, I feel a bit. The same could be said in spirit. So, and I just think some people are so closed-minded to it that everyone has the ability to sense and see spirit. It's not that we're special. It's just that we've accepted. We've accepted that we can. There's not a little switch that just automatically turns on and off. It's just we accepted from an early age that this is a thing and it's real, and we opened our mind to it. But these other people, they're so closed-minded, so scared. I think some of them are so scared of it that they just close it off. They bury it. And like I say, they could sit in the darkest dungeon in the most haunted place and get absolutely nothing. Because the radio is not tuned in. It's not happening. It's, you know what I mean?
I think we are running out of time, so I have many questions to ask you.
No problem.
Yeah. So, Brian, now recently you have been into, like you said, developing ITC applications for both Google Play and iOS, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. So, basically, if we consider one particular app, so how much time does it takes basically to develop the codings and the graphics and everything? Basically, how much time does it takes to develop one application?
It takes a long time. It takes months. The coding we've got off to kind of a fine art because we have an engine that we use that we can then modify to do whatever we want. But the coding can still take a little while, because sometimes we have to just modify a little bit. Sometimes you have to completely rewrite nearly, like the new one, Speculo, is written from the ground up. So it can take weeks just to get a basic prototype in place. Then it can take a very long time then to get the graphics, because I'm terrible. It has to be right. I have to have things perfect. And the audio,
you are the wizard of graphics, bro.
Oh man, I know we've worked together on graphics in the past and things, but I am terrible. Every button has to be right. I put a lot of detail into the graphics, but the sound, the audio is the most important. The audio is insane. I've literally driven myself insane with doing the audio for some of these apps, because as you know, we use only reverse audio. It's all reversed, nothing is forward. But what I do is, when we get the banks together, what we need is the banks, and I'm satisfied with the banks. And all that audio is reversed. I then go through all the reversed audio and remove any anomalies. So any sound, even backwards, that even might remotely sound like a word, because even backwards, it's gibberish. But you might get some sounds that join together that may sound like, I take them all out. So I go through all the banks and all the audio very carefully. Then we test. Then I do it again. Go through every single second again of audio to remove any further anomalies we may find. And then I do it again. And I can do it up to 4 times. And that can take weeks, because I've got to do it, put it in the app, send it to the testers. They might say, well, I'm getting some crazy stuff, but I keep hearing this repeating sound. So that might be an anomaly. So I go back through. And that's just a repeating process until we're sure we are 99.9999% positive that when you get a reply at one of these apps, it is not by accident. It is not. It's not just a false sound that sounds another word, because we've took them all out. So it can take months, literally months, and that's working every day.
Now, so I know I have terribly disturbed you while making the pair spread box application, and I really gave you a lot of audios to go through and put in the banks. So even like for the same procedures also got applied for the pair spread box.
Totally. I took all the audio you give me. I don't just use any audio either. You give me a lot of audio to work with, which was fantastic, because we had a lot to pick from. But I've explained this before, I don't just pick random sounds. It's just like a voice in my head, almost like I'm being shown. I'll listen to the audio, and then just a certain bit will stand out, and something will say that bit. And it's to do with the frequency. It's not to do with what's being said, because we're reversing it. So even whether it's in English, Spanish, Dutch, we reverse it, so you can't even understand what it said originally anyway. But it's to do with the frequency, the sound, the tones that have to work together. And it just, something in my head just says, right, out of that whole clippy sentence, I need that little bit there. And that's what I do. It's a long process. But yeah, I took everything he gave us. I took the bits out that I knew would work, that just thing, all reversed. Then I went through and removed anomalies. Anomalies went through and through and through and through. And I think on the pairs, it's a long process. I think on the pairs app, I did at least 5 runs, removing just anomalies from the audio, just so that when people use it, they know when a voice comes through in whatever language. So if you get an and, an it, a but, a John, a Brian, anything comes through, it cannot be there. It's as simple as that. It can't be there. I know we're going to get the skeptics to say, well, you've put that in there or whatever, but yeah, you know, it's, yeah, you're going to get that, but we don't. We do the opposite. We make sure that everything is taken out, even after it's reversed.
Besides you, like if you are a skeptic and you are aware that we will be faking stuff, I mean that the way you are worried of faking, we are worried like twice or thrice of it, that we shouldn't make it look fake.
Exactly. It's the way people use these things. And what I say, I've said this before, and I'll say it for your listeners as well. We cannot fake it. Simple way thing of putting it is, for me to fake, say the Pairs app, right? For me to fake that, I would have to know everybody that's ever going to use the app and whoever will, ever. I've got to know all of those people's history, family history, and anyone that they may show it to from now and then program that in. So if I could do that, I'd be the most powerful psychic in the world to start with. But
Exactly.
it wouldn't fit. You couldn't do it. How would I know who's going to use this? So when they use it and they're getting personal information coming out, it can't be there. We couldn't put it in, and it simply can't be there. It's been manipulated. There's a spirit manipulating that thing to bring those words out. So
exactly. So Brian, you like I said, you have developed nearly 15 ITC applications by collaborating with different people.
Yeah.
And so like the Pair Spirit Box is available for free.
Yes.
And I believe there are many other ITC creators too who have their apps published in the Google Play Store or iOS Play Store for free.
Yeah.
So, or do you think it is good, or do you think it is good from the customer side of point of view that they should download and try to communicate with the paranormal? Like, is it good or is it ethical to download any applications that communicates with the dead and start using it if you don't have the proper knowledge of paranormal?
If you don't have the proper knowledge of paranormal, the difference again between some people have put the free apps, but there's a misconception with the free apps. Some of the free apps are free, like the Pairs one we made because we worked together on that, and we think we gave that free. But there's no advertisements in it. A lot of apps that are given away for free, they're perfectly good apps, they work perfectly fine, but they have advertisements in them. So that's how the developer still gets a little bit of something for the time they put in. So technically they're free, but the developer's still getting reimbursed a little bit. So what we do is, rather than have the ads and things, anything like that, we just put a small charge. But instead of putting like a big charge that some app developers have, which is just a very nominal little charge just for because it takes a lot of work. But whether you use a free app or a paid one, it's about doing your homework. Look at what other people have done. Like, a lot of people are using our apps, and you've seen what's kind of happening with the ones we've been doing. So look at what other people have done, and it's not difficult to figure out if an app's not what it's supposed to be. I'm not saying fake, but maybe it's not as serious as what it's supposed to be within the field. So that's as simple as that. Use a free one. You use whatever works for you. If you find a free one and it's working very well, that's fantastic. Use it, but just do your homework.
Exactly. Do your homework. Right.
Do your homework is very important.
Yeah. So, Brian, I think we're approaching the end of the show. So do you have anything to plug or any shout outs to give regarding your recent applications or projects that you are working on?
Right. Yeah. The most recent one we're working on, which is hopefully going to be released within the next couple of days, is Speculo, which is a strange name, I know. But it's basically Latin for mirror, because mirrors are supposed to be a portal. It's Latin. Speculo is Latin for mirror. A mirror.
Okay.
Because mirrors are supposed to be a portal to the other side. That's exactly what we believe. But it works in a slightly different way. We've gone a different route with Speculo. A lot of these apps, like the Pairs app and a lot of the apps out there, you run them, they have banks of audio, but it's running all the time. You pick a sweep rate, you run it, and it's noise. What Speculo does, it does something a little bit different. When you turn it on, it doesn't. The banks don't automatically fire. You have to ask a question. It waits for you. So there's no noise before and after, and you've got to time it. So you set a timer for how long you want them banks to fire off, how long you want the spirit to give it to answer your question. So it's anywhere from 3 seconds to 20, and we have getting some incredible stuff at 3 seconds. 3 seconds doesn't sound a long time.
But for
you can get a reply. You can get a reply. So basically, you set the timer, say it is 4 seconds, then the app will wait. Now, it doesn't understand what you're asking. The app is just listening for a certain frequencies of sound that a human voice would fall under. So it will sit and it's totally silent. And you just ask a question: is there anybody there? And you've got 3 seconds to ask the question, which is again is long enough to ask a question. Is there anybody there? When it hears your voice, then it will trigger the banks, which are all reversed, and it will go for the 4 or 5 seconds that you've put, but then it will stop and wait for you to ask the next question. So it keeps everything structured, organized. You haven't got the sound coming at you all the time. It only replies when you ask a question.
That is amazing. So when is it coming out in the store?
It will be out in the Play Store within the next couple of days. We're hoping to get it out before Halloween, which is
All right.
Way too quick. So it'll hopefully this weekend.
All right. So I think like apart from the pair spread box, I'll be also using this app. Good news is that I'm coming up with the season 2 of the TV series that I've been doing.
Excellent.
And we have we have planned many stuffs and fixed many things, like I said earlier before in the initial period of this show. So I think the Speculo app is something that I would really like to try during the investigations and let the people know what exactly it is.
Exactly. Well, on that note, my friend, because we've worked together a long time. We've been in this a long time. So what I will do when that app is released, I will send your team a code so you can use Speculo. You know,
that is amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Because I know you guys do amazing work, and I know that you will get a lot out of Speculo on the way it works.
Because if you remember, I have used the initial apps that you developed. Do you remember the names? Like, I've forgotten what were the names, the initial apps that you developed.
The favorite ones was the Ghost Box area where. God, my mind's gone blank. I've got thinking of the Ghost Box. We've had Geminis Box.
Geminis Box, yeah. I think the Geminis Box or some box. I used it in the national television, and I had sent a clip of that to you. So I have been using your applications, and the only reason I see, Brian, to be very honest, when it comes down to investigation, you ought to be professional, right? So the only reason I use your application because I know you. I know your applications and I know how you work on it, right? So, and I'm really very obliged that you thought of giving the Speculo, sorry for the name, Speculo, to be used in the TV show. And I would certainly use it, not because it is something that is developed by you, like this is one of the reasons, of course. But the only reason that you said is that it will be waiting for our, it will be waiting for our command, right? That you say something and then the banks will be triggering for some fraction of seconds, not fraction of seconds, some seconds basically.
So 3 to 20 seconds. You basically you will find your own. You'll find your own place. The only thing with Speculo is because it's listening by your voice. A bit of advice for when you get it: that if you've got a team around you, you've got to remember that again, it's a good thing. Because normally when you do an investigation and one of these apps is spitting sound out, your team can be chattering in the background and talk because there's a lot of noise. With this, you have to listen. You have to all be quiet because if someone's talking in the background, it may trigger it. So one person, that would be you, would be the designated person who's going to ask the question. So it makes everyone else just settle down and they're all listening. So they're listening properly.
Exactly.
Because if they can't talk because they will trigger it by accident. So they're listening intently as well, which means you got more chance of people hearing the different things and picking things up. So it just makes you do your little investigation, your session, just a little bit more calm, a little bit more organized. Which is really cool. So I'm looking forward to see what you guys were able to do with it.
Thank you so much, Brian, for and thank you for that too.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
1 hour of your busy schedule with someone like me chatting on a YouTube live stream on the Paranormal Chat Show episode 2. And Brian, happy Halloween, advance happy Halloween to
thank you, and to you guys,
and to everyone who you are linked to or you are walking. And I totally forgot. Shout out to my friend Josh Schumacher, brother. I totally forgot your name in the first episode. So thank you for the share. Thanks to Glenn Williams for sharing the event, and everyone who wishes to get a shout out, do not forget to share the event. That is what I do. So if you want to get a shout out, do not forget to share the event. Now, Brian, thank you so much, brother, for coming.
It's been a pleasure.
The chat was amazing, and I think I'll be inviting you one more time, taking 1 hour of your busy schedule one more time someday again.
Anytime, my friend. You know that. Anytime.
Thank you so much, brother. See you soon.
Okay, bye. It's been a pleasure. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Yeah, good morning. Sorry, whatever suits you. Bye. So this was Paranormal Chat Show episode 2 along with a guest, Brian Holloway. He is an amazing guy. So if you haven't been online during the live chat, you can certainly watch it on my channel, on Pear's channel. Apart from that, I'll be putting Pear's website, Facebook page, Instagram link, my Instagram link, Brian's Facebook link, and everything in the description below. So if you have any queries, any link, any problems to talk to me or my team or to Brian, you can just click on it and do the following stuff. Apart from it, I'll be again giving a shout out to 101 India for inviting us to be a part of their live stream for the Halloween special that will be happening on Sunday at 12 noon, and co-founder Pooja Vijay will be live from the office talking about her experiences and giving some psychic readings. I will be live along with the tabloid Coffee Bites talking about Halloween and answering your queries. So this is Paranormal Chat Show episode 2. For Indians, have a very good night, and for basically for India, and for people those who are watching from abroad, have a good morning or very good night or very good noon, whatever suits you, my friend. Bye bye.